Welcome to the Plant-Based Podcast. Did you know that plants are truly amazing? Not only can you grow them and eat them, you can also wear them, drink them, nourish your skin with them, and so much more. Let Ellen and Michael inspire you to love plants as much as they do, as they chat with the movers and shakers in this wonderful plant-based world. So, let's dig in.
Floret carefully select their salad leaves to ensure a perfectly balanced mix. As sponsors of Series 8 of the podcast, Floret have something to suit everyone's taste, from mild to strong salad leaves in bags that can be recycled at supermarkets. So whatever deliciousness you are cooking, pair it up with the perfect salad and make it unfloretable.
Welcome to the Plant-Based Podcast News.
Your horticultural news roundup for the week.
People in Guernsey who have access to gardens or fields are being asked to check them for an invasive plant. The Agriculture, Countryside and Land Management Services said staff have spent 2 years trying to eradicate the non-native Himalayan balsam. At this time of year, the plants will be starting to set seed, so islanders are encouraged to check their land and report any specimens as soon as possible. They said, "We really don't want to allow this species to become established on Guernsey, as it could become a significant problem for wildlife and for landowners."
The Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, has launched a 3.1 million tree planting package to protect and future-proof London in response to the catastrophic impacts of climate change. Trees provide vital cooling for cities, create habitats for London's wildlife, reduce flood risk, and help to tackle climate change through absorbing and storing carbon.
Garden centres in Devon have just given away £25,000 worth of plants following poor sales this season. Plants Galore will be letting plants go for free at their stores in Exeter, Newton Abbot and Plymouth. The recent drought and cost of living crisis has resulted in slow sales, but the business does not want the plants to go to waste. Garden plant manager Nathan Bully explains, the recent prolonged dry, hot conditions have been extremely challenging for the garden centre industry.
And more trees. The Biden administration said the government will plant more than 1 billion trees across millions of acres of burned and dead woodlands in the US West, as officials struggle to counter the increasing toll on the nation's forest from wildfires, insects, and other manifestations of climate change.
And no, he wasn't out of his gourd. A Nebraska man carved out a new Guinness World Record by hiding inside a hollowed-out pumpkin for 38 treacherous miles down the Missouri River. The master gardener grew the mammoth pumpkin, weighing 846 pounds, in his own garden, only for the purpose of beating the 25.5-mile record that was set in 2018.
I don't know why it really made me giggle. Eurasian beavers have been granted legal protection in England. The new legislation will make it illegal to deliberately capture, kill, disturb or injure beavers, as well as damaging their breeding sites or territories. The Eurasian beaver is a native species throughout Britain and is listed on the red list and is a European protected species.
Hey, hello.
Hi, MP. What have you been up to?
Well, I've been at the gym and I still haven't had lunch, so I might be hangry. And of course, we all know what you're like when you're hangry.
I don't think I've ever seen you hangry, to be honest.
Because, I don't know, you always announce it, but I just keep it to myself.
I feel
Honestly,
like I need to let you know because before, like, I literally explode.
honestly, you need more self-control, Ellen. I've been thinking that's what you're lacking.
Self-control, yeah, that's the one thing I'm lacking. Hunger, when it gets me, can ruin the day.
Honestly. But what always makes me laugh, and this is, I know this is going to end in an argument, but let's go in, was that you don't just pick up a piece of food and eat it. Like, you kind of make it into such a drama. Like, just buy a cereal bar.
Maybe I don't want a cereal bar. When you've got hunger, and usually you've got like in your head like what you want as well, and when you can't get it, it's like a red mist comes around you, and it's like I have to only have that one thing, and I'm not happy until I get it. Hunger's like a whole thing. I
had no idea of this complexity. I thought just hunger was when you're, hungry, angry. Yeah. I didn't know it was specific food.
No, it is like when you're hungry and angry, but then once you've gone too far, it's like I fancy a McDonald's, then it's like you can only have that. Nothing is good enough until you've got to that McDonald's.
God, so it's like being hangry and pregnant all in one. Oh my God.
Oh, anyway, tell us about your back garden. I noticed that you'd posted a photograph about your burnt back garden. Only for attention. What survived and what didn't while you were away?
Well, do you know what, Ellen Mary? I have to say, like, the back garden, obviously, I didn't expect that necessarily to be watered, but my dad, I know my dad doesn't listen to the podcast, so I'm safe. Well, I think so. What was you said about your parents? I follow you on all social media platforms, and they know everything about you and exactly what your nipples look like. Obviously, maybe that. So like, he's like, oh, I'll water it. And obviously, like, you'd offered, and I could have got like someone else to offer to do it as well. But like, and he was like, oh no, it's all right. And then I come back and all my houseplants are like gasping. And I'm like, oh, and like, you know how it is. Like, obviously this is typical. So like, my dad obviously then WhatsApps me. He's like, oh, all the plants all right. And I'm like, yeah. Yeah, they're all right. They're fine. Honestly, we're never going to say anything different, are we? But it's like I'm behind his back.
That's exactly what I would do. I wouldn't dare say, actually, they're all dead because you didn't water them enough.
How are they? Fine. Ellen, I think, I know your garden's the same, but like at the point where the heat wave was happening, you probably sort of saw it happen because you were there. But I think for me, I'm kind of coming back, and it really does look like a meteorite has just landed. And because it was lush before I left, it's like, what? Have I had a house fire?
Not again. It wasn't me this time.
No. Yeah, it's like, but do you know what? And we always say this, but plants, they're relatively resilient. And my bamboo was all shriveled up, and the leaves were kind of like quilled. They were quilled. What a lovely word. Quilled.
Very lovely.
They're now back to being solid and not quilled. So that's cool. But I think things have just kind of carked it prematurely. But do you know what, Ellen Mary? I'm doing a reel on late summer planting, so it's kind of just played into my hand a little bit, really. I was looking for a few pots to die here and there, so it's not really a problem.
Always an opportunity.
I know. And you know what? It is... maybe I did plant it wrongly, and it wasn't planted, in a way with plants that would look after themselves in a heat wave. And I think what you see of my front garden, this is a lot more kind of resilient and kind of responsive to kind of like changing kind of temperatures. It's kind of a lot more prairie style in the grasses, etc., etc. And here, I think my soil is a lot drier than I like to admit.
Right.
And dry and a bit kind of clay-like, which is obviously sounds a bit strange, but it is. And so I think kind of underestimated. And, when I built the garden, I thought I was making a Chelsea garden, so if I could just put any old thing in. But it's a nice, I think you learn with gardens as well. And sometimes when it doesn't go wrong, it doesn't give you that opportunity to kind of learn with it and evolve it as well. And also, to take followers on that journey too. And it's really surprising the things that, like, I don't know why this cherry laurel completely burnt off, but then the one that's there didn't. And the Acer has survived really surprisingly well. Some of the lower branches are kind of crisped up, but yeah, it's really my Circe's Eternal Flame is completely gone. Honestly,
has it? Oh no!
It's in a container, so obviously my said he watered it. Obviously he didn't. Yeah, but yeah, so I think that is and it was such a lovely shape, and I can't look at it too much.
Oh gosh, don't cry while we're on the podcast. But it is containers are always going to be much harder. So obviously I've been away for a couple of weeks and I'm away for another week longer. And my mum has been to my house to water one. And all my back garden, the back garden is all pots, and the front garden, I've got half a dry garden now, but the rest, I dread to think what it'll be like when I get back. I have no idea.
It's not as warm as it was, in a way, so, yeah.
I know, but it's mostly containers. So my next door neighbour hopefully has given them a sprinkle as well. But at the end of the day, you know, we can't assume that everything will be okay, because we're both away like a lot on and off throughout the year. And like you said, it's just an opportunity at the end of the day to try something new. And I don't think anything is wrong. Like you said, I've just planted, or I might have planted wrongly. I don't like. I just think that's just all part of the fun of learning. You know,
things that are changing anyway. So yeah, fair point, young Ellen. You are mostly correct.
Young. I'm always taking when anyone says young to me nowadays.
Oh, Ellen. Isn't it funny how you kind of age over the years, though? You were mentioning earlier that you got to update your headshots.
Yeah.
Sorry, tell everyone, but you know. But it's so strange. Like, yeah. I don't know.
We're having a photo shoot basically for our listeners in a couple of weeks. We have them together and then we have individual shots. And so Michael was like, what was I thinking for my individual shots? And I was like, well, basically, I really just need some headshots, because I get asked for them, like if you write for a magazine or whatever, like a very, you know, head shoulders, because I'm still giving headshots that we had taken back at Urban Jungle, which was one of the first photo shoots that we ever had done. Well, I've aged quite a lot since then, you know, over the course of, how many years ago was that, do you think? Like 6? 5, 6? I don't really know. Anyway, it's a good few years back. And I look at that photo and I think, what a lovely photo. And then I look in the mirror and think, oh, that was someone much younger than me. So I don't want to be the person that only puts pictures out there of them being younger, because age is a fact of life. You know, I look like what I look like. And also I find it really funny when there's lots of like filters and stuff online, and then you see the person in real life and you're kind of like, you don't look anything like online. I don't want to be like that. Do you know what I mean? I want it to be real.
What you like?
With added wrinkles, basically.
Yeah. What are you up to today, though, hun?
Well, I think I'm going to go and visit a new garden. Well, I say new, one I haven't been to this time in Charlotte. It's called Maple Walk, and it's a private garden. And the couple who... I went there a couple of years ago, stumbled across it when I think it might have been during lockdown when I was out for a walk. And it was just like a little pathway off the sidewalk. And it had a sign say, come in and look around. And I'm like, sure, okay, I'll come in and look around. It was amazing. It's like there's something like 90 aces in there. And it's all kind of like Japanese inspired. And I went in and a guy came out from the house and he was like, oh, this is our garden, da da da. And we had a walk and talk and it was absolutely lovely. And then he started following me on Instagram. And well, him and his wife are really well known in Charlotte, like at the gardening club and all those kind of things. And I said I would definitely go back to see it at a different time of year. So I think this afternoon I'm going to go and have a little meander around there and see what I can find. Otherwise, it's a bit of a work day and dog training day, because my dog is sort of in adolescent stage and she's just being really naughty.
Yeah.
So you can see her. Here she is. Look.
Well, she shouldn't be on the sofa for a start.
This is the sofa in my husband's office. She's allowed on that.
What's she doing, the snotty, then?
Well, mainly barking like at you, and it's a real yap, and it's really loud, and it like literally rings in your head. So first of all, like, she's barking for attention, so we're trying to train her out of that. And the other thing I noticed since I've been back is she's been literally eating my monstera leaves. So I've got a huge monstera, and I was like, what's that? Like, the edges look all jagged. And then I realised it's because she's been biting at it. And I said to my husband, what's that all about? And he said, she isn't eating it. What she does is, if she's not getting attention, she runs and she jumps at the monstera and like bites the leaf, like an attention grabbing type thing, like play.
Oh my gosh, she's attacking your plants to get your attention.
Yeah, she's literally attacking the monstera to get our attention. It's like she knows all the buttons to press.
Dog is a real bitch.
Yeah, she's fun. So there you go. That's my interesting day. What about you?
I got to feel lots of different film. Lots of different pieces of content. So look, there's my little
whole list.
Yeah, I'm always like, it's the thing I procrastinate about so much, and then when I start doing it, it's always a lot easier than I think it will have been. I don't know. I'm always like that. It's just like, I need to just do these things sometimes. It's like,
it's because you want to do a really good job, so you like to have it really well planned out. Do you know what I mean? And then that kind of, in your head, you think it's harder than it is. But every single time you do a video, you always message and you're like, oh, it's a really good day of making content, and it was really good and really easy.
So yeah, obviously I followed with a car full of plants.
I bet you did. What are the top plants you brought back?
Well, I'm doing some more content with the calanchoe, so I had those like outdoor, which actually that is where the timing worked out well, because I'm doing some content on kind of how to like save the look in your summer garden, and of course coming back to a garden that was scorched was just perfect timing. I'm kind of glad it didn't rain. So I've also got some mangard that I'm going to do some stuff with, some really cool new begonias that are for indoor outdoor. I need to film some things like a bulb lasagna as well. I'm going to do that really cool. I'm going to mix it up with real lasagna, so that's cool.
I'm going to mix up with real lasagna.
And also some dahlia content that I did last week. Yeah, it's so funny, Ellen, how over the years, I was thinking the other day of being freelance. I was freelance for like 6 years or whatever, and how the content creation has changed in that time. It's really, and how we naturally, you just go with it. And like what I create now is very different to what I might have created 5 years ago. It's really quite cool, really. Yeah, I don't know, because I think like I used to be really proud of, if I made some like 5-minute presentation video on a plant with a few B-roll inserted in, but like that just wouldn't cut the mustard now, would it? It's like, yeah.
No. It is quite fun to see it all changing, but I just really hate how it changes, because it's sort of dictated to us how to change it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, we have to do reels of under 15 seconds to get engagement or whatnot. Like, as you can tell, I'm still on I hate Instagram. I'm on I hate Instagram mode. It will wane at some point, but I'm still in the middle of that right now.
I see a conversation opening has then misfired completely. I'm not on the same page with this, damn it. I was in a kind of meeting yesterday, and they were talking about, they were asking about my content over the years, and they asked a couple of questions that were really difficult to answer. They said, one of them was kind of like, what piece of content are you most proud of that really kind of like maybe elevated things? And there's two things that I kind of disagree with at that question. And I think your best piece of content varies. So like every 6 months, it feels like social media and kind of what you produce, maybe newsletters, website, it pivots a bit. So I think you could only choose this in like 6-month blocks, or maybe 9 months or a year or something. So, something I would have been proud of video wise, a few years ago wouldn't be compared to like a reel or something nowadays, or, some photo work did maybe 6 years ago or something. So I couldn't really answer that question in a clear way. And I let them know that I couldn't. But also, like typical moments of then suddenly getting extra followers or this and that. And like for me, and I know you'll agree, it's never about getting more followers. And I think a big misconception, because just because you're getting more followers doesn't mean they're going to be people that are engaged or this or that. So it's funny because, brands still seem fixated on like numbers, but it's about the quality and you don't know what eyes are on what you're creating anyway. So, it's
absolutely.
funny I answer those questions but it's nice because I like being asked questions I can't answer because it makes me think. So it's not a bad thing. Yeah.
It makes you have to dig deep in your brain. And I agree with that. I totally agree with that. I just really I just really hate being like dictated to, which is why I can't really work as an employee for anyone, because I don't like being told what to do. So
honestly. But I do have a relatively new obsession, which I will be going on about a lot more in due course. Did we talk about Substack?
No.
We did with Mark, didn't we? Do you remember?
Oh, yeah. Mark Diacono mentioned it. Yeah, absolutely. He did. I remember.
It's this kind of like newsletter-y type thing that you can subscribe to. And I've talked for a long time about, with the new product kind of ideas and stuff. It's like, because I don't necessarily do that for a company, there's a lot of ideas that then kind of just float in the ether and nobody then ever knows about my thoughts about them or this or that. So I'm going to do something along the lines of kind of new products, new plants, new ideas and stuff like that. And
that's really cool.
I'm pumped about it. And it was interesting when he was saying you're obviously in control then of your own content and this and that, which is kind of a nice thing. And that is then following on from what you said, is then a nice antidote to what is happening, with Instagram doing this and that. It's kind of something that you're in control of, and you can put pictures in it. You can put even sound bites in it as well. So, I'm going to be obsessed with that in due course.
Well, we all look forward to seeing it or receiving it. It's like a newsletter type thing, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And people can then subscribe later down the line. But it's so funny because I realise sometimes a lot of the work I do is I kind of avoid having self-discipline, because then you work for a brand or I do the podcast with you, but it's not like I have to discipline myself because we do it together. There's not many things to do that I need to discipline myself on. So that will be a bit of a journey for me, I think. Although I was disciplined, I guess, on doing the book, but then I guess then you're still doing it for someone. So you've still got deadlines and like editors saying we need it by this date or can you change this or whatever, so you've still got that. So this is a thing all to yourself that you've got to motivate yourself to do. Yeah, which is interesting. But then if you get subscribers, that will encourage you to carry on doing it and doing it on time and stuff, because you want to keep them happy. Yeah, although I'm inherently lazy, so I know you are not. Oh dear. So you're one of the hardest working people I know. No, I don't think so. You are. I think I'm just good at kind of I don't know, kind of like balancing it all and letting it all merge into one, but not in a way that feels like it's overwhelming, I guess. I don't know. Okay. But then, I'm sure you said the same. Part of being freelance is that kind of buzz of knowing that it's all down to you. And that can be scary, but it's also quite a turn on as well, Yeah. So, I just I can't imagine. I work freelance for companies, so I have deadlines to meet, but it's still because I'm freelance on my own sort of terms, my own time, which I like a lot, because it means I can just chill out all day and then work all night, which is what I tend to do. And when people are they see me away a lot or here and there, it's I've just been in Holland for 3 weeks, but I was still very much on work mode, but also kind of blending the leisure into that. And, I was always, it's not like I ever kind of turn my phone off or my emails, but it's pleasurable because it's the stuff I enjoy. So, Very good. It's cool. I'd recommend it to anyone. Me too. Totally and utterly. Well, one thing that I will be doing to round off today is every single day for about 1 hour, I sit on the balcony at the end of the day with my camera and I try to get a picture of a hummingbird. And I've got a couple, but I feel like they're not good enough yet. So I take half an hour and I hide behind the hibiscus
with my long lens, and I just sit and watch them. They're amazing. They literally come right up to my face. But of course, when they're up to my face, I can't move the camera in order to take the picture because they're too close. And if you even blink, they fly, like literally fly away. So you have to stay so still and not even move your eyes. And so I hide behind the hibiscus with my camera, and I sit there and I wait until they come and try and get a shot. That's how I round off my day.
That's so cute. Oh dear.
Sooner or later, I'm going to get a really, really good photograph. But yeah, that's kind of like, it's like mindfulness. It's like an hour of pure mindfulness.
Yeah. That's really cool. I wonder if my hedgehog's still there. I can't really look. Yeah.
You can have a little gentle peek without disturbing anything. Yeah.
I'll see.
Chances are they may well have moved on if they were little hoglets anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have a look, but I need to put out some new bird food and stuff like that. It's so funny because like the garden seems scorched, but it's also like seems devoid of life at the moment as well. It's like
I'll bring them all back. It'll soon change once you do a bit of late summer planting and get the bird food out. They'll all be back.
Get my calanchoes out.
Get your calanchoe out, of course.
Oh my god! Well, my canna's having a refresh, but I have to say, the container that has kept looking bloody perfect is the most random container. It's a spider plant, a Tradescantia, a Streptocarpus, and petunias.
Ooh.
It's so off the wall, you can't even describe it, and it's perfect, and it hasn't even been watered, and it's just sitting there, just doing its thing. Yeah,
amazing.
I'm doing I love to bend the rules. We're doing a shoot for Gardeners World magazine next week, I think it is, of indoor-outdoor planters. So ones that you can literally use outside in the summer months, then bring them back in. So
nice.
That's Ellen pushing the envelope. Nice.
Before we finish up, please can we talk about annuals and how beneficial that they are for wildlife? Because everyone says that annuals aren't very good for wildlife, and they're boring, and it's a waste and all of that jazz. Well, this on the balcony, I've got calabrachoas, lots of them in hanging baskets, and then a couple of my marigolds had died, so I wanted to replace them. I have a lot of bedding plants here because they're easy for my husband to look after when I'm not here.
Yeah.
And I put stupid petunias out there. So
wicked. Yeah.
The hummingbirds dive into them. They dive. They literally dive. It is an absolute magnet for them. These are annual bedding plants.
Attractive to them. Wow.
Annual bedding plants. I don't know if it's the colour and then they dive in and they're not getting the nectar that they need. I don't know. But they love it and it attracts them to the balcony. And then there's hummingbird feeders anyway, which they feed out of. But either way, it's attracting wildlife to our balcony. So we always talk about annuals being really bad, but I don't necessarily think that that's always the case, and I've witnessed that sitting here.
Yeah.
Watching them all. So yeah. And they're really pretty. So okay, well I do have to get off and walk the dog, I've got a little pouch of training treats.
Yeah.
Whip her into shape. Hey Doodle. No, actually she's asleep now. Maybe I won't disturb her.
Asleep all over your sofa, yeah.
Let sleeping dogs lie.
Coolness. Alan.
All right. Well, I'll speak to you soon.
Yeah, it's nice to see you.
To see you, nice.
Bye. Floret are a farmer-owned cooperative passionate about what they produce and sponsor of the Plant-Based Podcast. Grown by a network of local farmers who work to bring you the tastiest salads of the highest quality. So how will you make your dish unfloretable? The music for the Plant-Based Podcast is part of the song Grow by Mikey James, and our editor is Gareth Patch of Semi Echo.